Hello, my name is Joe Bauer and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Well, in this episode of Manifesting Adventures with Rapid Image Cycling, I'm going to do an update again, this time covering the period between May 28th and June 5th, which is just a few days ago. And right before this period started, I had really gotten a much better understanding of just how to change everything, how to use the gimmick, and how to make everything more playful and avoiding ritual. So coming into this period, I was able to change anything at any time and still follow the plot, which is to cycle quickly. And so all during this period, I was using different carnival rides. The carnival rides are just kind of interesting, and so I would think of, well, okay, wait, first, before I start on that, what I would do during this period is I would start with my single images again, going through them with the waltz rhythm, and then I would only do that for maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. And then I would ditch that and I would go with the single icon image, which is like the combination of everything all put into one image that holds the essence of everything on the list, the experiences of having them, the whole bit, all in one image. All right. And then anyway, so then I would take that and then I would imagine that in like a carnival ride of one kind or another. It might be, bumper cars going around in a circle. It might be a merry-go-round or Ferris wheel. And, there's the one where you sit in a seat, and you got these chains that hold up a seat, and there's a bunch of them all in a circle. And once everybody is sitting in their seats, then it spins around and you kind of swing outward as you pick up speed. Just any of those silly rides. And what I would do is as I began to speed up, I would go through them kind of slow at first and then just gradually speed up more and more. And I would still, quite often, I would still use the waltz rhythm. But I would not be using the rhythm in any kind of correlation with the speed of the cycling. I would only use the waltz rhythm in really the way that Richard Bandler talked about it, where you're using it just to kind of put yourself in a trance. Because this whole thing is kind of tedious, and I can just put myself in a good position and in a good frame of mind by doing that. But when I was using this, I could be cycling a little bit slower or a little bit faster. It just didn't matter. I was only using that for the state of mind that it had to offer. Okay, not connected at all to how quickly I was cycling. And by the way, I have no idea how many images per minute that I was even going. At this point, I'm only sensing how fast I'm going, and I'm speeding up as I go along, okay? And I can just tell when I'm going faster and faster. I'm not even counting how many times a minute or second I'm going. I'm just looking to go faster. That's it. Anyway, so I would imagine any of those dumb rides and having my icon like as something that could be in the seat of any of those rides, coming up over a Ferris wheel, and then or sometimes I would grab the wheel, of a Ferris wheel, for instance, and I would kind of play around with it, kind of like if you take your bicycle and you flip it over upside down, and you could put your hands on the wheel and kind of slap the wheel and make it go faster. Or put your hand in the spokes and like spin it kind of fast like that, whatever. Anything to make it have a more variety as I go along, all right? And anyway, so that got to going on and on. And then another thing I would do during this period is I would take the icon. I did want to connect with the icon well. And so I would take the icon and look at it and think, okay, this icon, it holds, it embodies everything that I've done since January. You know, going over the list, you know, making a list, making the animated experience for everything on the list, a single image for everything on the list, and then cycling and learning to cycle faster. And then going back a couple of months ago and starting all over and revising my list and making my descriptions better and the animated situations better, and you know, starting off slowly and cycling and speeding up and speeding up. All of that effort that I've done going into an icon that is spinning. Now, if I'm doing it right, that's it. I hope I am doing it right. But I would at least do that much. You know, you just get that icon and go, okay, this icon is everything that I've done during this entire period. And so I get it to going faster, and then especially the Ferris wheel was the one that I liked going with the fastest. And once I got it to going pretty fast, you know, once I got it up to a good speed, then what I started doing is I would shrink it down to just being about this big. And then I would kind of place it in my mind's eye, like just off to the side. Kind of like how you would have one of your computer icons. You know, you might, when you look at your computer screen, you'll have, you know, your browser icons and different ones, you know. And I would set up this Ferris wheel to see if I could just get it to spin about this big in about the same position as the computer icon on your computer screen, you know. And then so for this next week, then what I want to do is I want to streamline all of that more, because during this period I was not really trying to answer questions about anything. I wasn't really figuring out anything. It was really more about streamlining all of this and getting it to be more efficient. And that's about how I'm going to go into next week too. Next week I want to internalize everything that I've done to where I can have this little icon just spinning all the time. And I may change what it is, you know. I may change it to a merry-go-round one day, and maybe a Ferris wheel another day, and maybe just whatever, you know. But I want it to be able to run all the time, kind of like how Bill Bengston does when he says, you know, in his interviews, where he'll say that he's been cycling all throughout the interview. So if that is possible, then this thing has to be running all the time and without your attention, you know, which he would call a mindlessness, when you internalize something so much that it becomes mindless, okay? So that's how I want to go into next week with this. Also, this week I listened to his interviews and lectures more. I understand a whole lot more. I mean, when I go back and listen to those now, I understand so much more about what he's talking about, so I'm pleased with that. One thing I noticed him saying in one of those this week is that he says that cycling very quickly is just so much easier than cycling slowly. Well, I could really relate to that, and I hope that means that I'm on the right track. Cycling slowly for me now is just painfully slow. It was always very tedious, but it seems even slower when you kind of learn how to go fast. You know, it seems worse. And that's all. And then I just want to add the disclaimer here in closing that I'm really just piecing this together out of what I've learned from all these videos on YouTube, okay? I have not had any formal training in Bill Bengston's work. So if you're learning by watching me, you know, be careful, because I might be doing something completely wrong. I just want to say, you know, I'm piecing it together from what I hear, and then I just follow my intuition about what needs to be done next. Okay. All right. So that's it. Until next week. And I want to thank you all for watching. And y'all take care. And may you see clearly in 2020.